Wednesday wig Q&A. Today's question is one that I get a lot, and I understand why I get them, but my answer is generally always the same. And that is, Jill, what wig could you recommend for my first wig? Oh boy, you know, it is tough, and I know that when you're getting ready and you've actually committed to the idea of trying a wig, it is so overwhelming. You go to the wig websites, you look at their pictures, you go onto YouTube and you look at, you know, as many of them as you can of the ones that kind of interest you, and it can be very overwhelming. And so what I always say is, first and foremost, I could not possibly do that. I could not possibly pick a wig for you because I don't know what you would like, and I don't know, even if you tell me like, well, I really feel like I want it to match, you know, kind of the style that I used to wear. I want it to look this way, mid-length, some layers, I need a bang. Can you recommend a wig? It's like, I can't. I don't want that responsibility. It's tough, it's hard, even when you know what you want. But I can tell you the following. For a good first wig experience, I would recommend a lace front, a full mono top, or at least a partial mono, which would be usually a right-sided part. And if you can swing it, though, I would recommend 100% hand-tied cap, if you can afford one for your first wig. And here's the reasons why I recommend that. Is that gives you the best possible realism to the wig, you know? It gives you the best possible scenario to not have to do an awful lot to that wig to make it look nice. I have yet to meet a wig that I loved right out of the box. I always have to make it mine. I always have to do something with it. Not to say that I have to thin it. Sometimes you do have to thin a wig, but I've never done it. Or cut it, not necessarily that. I just mean change it up, use some product in it, style it, put something in it, a headband, clip it back, do something to make it feel more like you than right out of the box. But if you can do 100% hand tied, now that will give you the best experience that you can get from a wig. You're still going to feel like you have a hat on your head, but those little fibers have been individually hand sewn in there, so each little fiber has its own movement and individually, so it's going to feel more like real hair when it moves around. When the wind blows, it's going to look like, you know, real hair, and you can style it and do it and not have to worry about wefts showing. Generally the hand-tied caps are more comfortable for your head. And it just gives you the best scenario for feeling pretty good in your first wig, or feeling great in your first wig. And then if you can't afford, because having those options are going to be the most expensive option in the synthetic wig industry, is having that 100% hand-tied wig. But if you can't afford that, then definitely I'd go with a lace front and some sort of mono top. That way when you part your hair, it's going to look like real scalp. It's going to look like the hair is growing right out of your head with a lace front. And I would go for, you know, if you can, extended nape. Those tend to be more comfortable for me. Anyway, that would be my second option for you. If you can't afford to have a mono top or even a partial mono top, I would go for a lace front. This is me. Some people would rather have some sort of mono top and not a lace front. For instance, my Ignite does not have a mono top, but it does have a lace front. And so that first initial parting, you can see my scalp and it looks real. And then it's got that permatease that I can fluff up so you can't tell that it doesn't have a mono top. My other thing is I would not have liked, I struggled with Ignite anyway, and it wasn't my first wig. I want to say Ignite was my third wig, I think. It was my first shorter wig, and I struggled with it, did not like it from the beginning. It ends up, it's my favorite wig. But I would not recommend a wig that has permatease in it, or at least a lot of permatease in it, for your first wig, because permatease is lovely and you'll learn to love it in, you know, I don't like a ton of permatease, but permatease does its job really nicely in that it lifts the fibers off the cap, it gives you some body, and it's great. But when you're a very first time wig wearer, that lifts those fibers off the plane of your head, and it may be a little too much for you to get used to with the looking at yourself with a full head of hair. So I would probably avoid wigs that have a lot of permatease in them for your first wig, like Noriko wigs, like the Jackson, for instance. That one is a beautiful wig, but for the most part, and there are plenty of people that have had Jackson as their first wig and they're fine with it. But when you ask my advice, this is my advice, and that is I probably wouldn't go for that one for my first one because there's a lot of permatease in that baby. And that is one of the things that first time wig wearers and almost all new styles, I still have to give my eyes some time to get used to seeing myself with that much hair. And that's the thing, is first time wig wearers, you have lived with your thinning hair for many, many, many years. So has the people who are around you. And finally you put this wig on your head that gives you a full head of hair. And it's a little bit much, and it takes a little bit for your eye to get acclimated to that. So if you have that on top of, because I tell you, if you put 100% hand-tied wig on your head, you're going to go through that anyway. You will. You're going to think it's too wiggy. I guarantee you. I guarantee you, you will. But if you add permatease on top of, you know, a realistic wig, even though it's still going to look probably pretty great, your eye is going to tell you, good Lord, this looks so much like a wig. Anyway, so that is what I suggest, is stay away from a lot of permatease in your first wig. I think wigs like, for instance, Eve, Mina, these wigs for the most part will give you body. I still suggest you always get those fibers off the cap a little, because that will make it look less wiggy, but you're not going to get a ton of volume. You're not going to have a ton of permatease with wigs like that. And they're a little easier for your eye to get used to. So really, that is what I suggest. I would rather suggest things that I would want you to look at rather than a specific wig, because I could not possibly pick one for you. I couldn't. I wouldn't know. It would be such a big responsibility, and it's your hard-earned money, and I couldn't possibly do that. I wish I could make it that easy, and it would look beautiful on you, and it would be great. But really, the other thing is part of your journey is finding that first wig. It's learning from it, and you picked it out because you liked something about it. You got it on your head, and you're like, holy geez. Well, that's okay. I don't hardly ever like a wig right out of the box. There are things that I know I could work with, but I don't usually love it until I get in there and start messing with it and making it my own. So here's what I suggest though, because I guarantee you, any wig you choose, you're going to feel like it's too wiggy on you. So after you have made it feel secure, fixed your hairline a little bit, watch some of my videos about what you could do to that hairline. That only takes a couple minutes, and it helps a little bit, helps a lot sometimes. But then what I do when I'm not 100% super secure in that wig, I feel like it's a little bit much, is I'll stick a cute little square band headband in it. It gets it smushed down to the plane of my head. I can fix it around that, and now it feels more like me. It feels more like real hair, and I'm not so self-conscious anymore about it. And it's like, okay, yeah, this is cute. I can do this. Or I'll pull it away and put a little clip in it, get it down, and don't be afraid to use accessories at all. As a matter of fact, to me, that is one of the fun things about being a wig wearer, is because my hair is way too thin to wear hair accessories, you know, and so it's fun. It's so fun to finally be able to do that with wigs. So, you know, buy a few hair accessories before you get that first wig, and if you're feeling like, try that, and I think it'll help I think you'll find that will help a lot. Okay guys, that's it for today's WIG Wednesday Q&A. I hope you like this one, and I always hope that you find this series helpful. Also, for new wig wearers, speaking of series, a while back, and I still will continue to add to this series, I have a series called New to Wigs. It's been out there for a little while now, and I have added quite a few little videos in there that I hope that new wig wearers find helpful. So please check that out. And how you do that, by the way, is go to my main page on my YouTube channel, and there's that little magnifying glass, you know, search bar. In that search bar, put in new to wigs. You don't even have to put the question mark, and boom, hit search, and or the magnifying glass. I can't remember which thing you hit. And all of those in that series will pop up, and you can watch them from there. I think you'll find them helpful. I hope you do anyway. All right, for sure this time I'm going to be going. And have a great week, you guys. Bye-bye.